excited to cook this week's dish for you. It's a sausage and seafood gumbo. So let's get to it. To start some veggie stock, I'm going to toss in some vegetable pieces that I've saved in the fridge. This is just some onion, some carrot, and some celery pieces. We'll add a little dill, some pickling spice, and some water. So I've got some chopped celery and some yellow and red onion, some various colored peppers, just diced, the Cajun Holy Trinity here, strain the stock out. Even if you can only make a stock for like 30 minutes, it's better than water. So now to start the roux, we'll heat a pan and get some canola oil going. And start whisking in some flour. This is on very high heat. I just keep adding flour and whisking as I go until I get the right consistency. A little thicker than this here. Kind of like a thinnish paste. And we want this roux pretty dark. Used to be that you'd cook a roux all day, a Cajun roux. But if you cook it in over really high heat and just keep whisking, you can get the same color. So just keep an eye on it, keep whisking away. It's starting to look a lot browner now. We'll toss in the veggies just to stop the roux cooking. We get this saucepan pretty hot and then a nice shot of oil in there. And I just dredged these pork ribs in some seasoned flour. A little bit of flour, a little bit of Cajun seasoning, my Cajun seasoning, and then some deer sausage. Just going to get all this browning. And just get some nice color on all these. Alright, a little gumbo filet into the pot to cook with the veggies. I'm going to whip up my seasoning for this. I just have a few bay leaves, some oregano, a little bit of thyme, kosher salt, some onion powder, and a little bit of granulated garlic, some paprika, and a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. And we'll just grind that all up in a spice grinder. Then we'll add a bit of the stock to the roux mix and stir that to incorporate so it's not lumpy. Oh, it's smelling good. Strain the last bit of this stock with a finer strainer. A little bit of water and some chicken broth. A little bit of chicken base. And the brown meats look about ready. We'll just add those in. Let all the flavors start melding. I'm not going to clean out the saucepan, but I'm going to build another roux in there. Alright, we'll bring the heat up on that and add a little more oil. Add the seasoned flour from dredging the ribs. And then we'll scrape up all that good stuff in the bottom of the pan. All those nice brown bits. Tick more flour. A little more gumbo filet. Like to get that cooking in the roux. So you just keep constantly whipping that roux and getting it to a nice dark color. A lot of flavor in that. The darker the roux, the more flavor, but the less thickening power. The lighter the roux, the more thickening power, but the weaker the flavor. This one's looking about perfect. So we'll stop the cooking of the roux there with some more veggies. Yeah, with this light it looks like it's burnt, but trust me, it's not. We'll work a little stock into this roux. Actually, at this point, it's really soup. It's really gumbo. Mix that up so it doesn't lump. Man. Now we'll work that into the gumbo. We'll add a little liquid smoke. Some seasoning mix. A little bit of soy sauce. And then I'll start cutting those sausages into manageable pieces. Man, those are good to go. So we'll add the sausages back into the gumbo. Get all that good juice back in there too. Don't want to waste any of that. A little lump crab meat that I picked through. Make sure there's no shell. Some cooked, peeled, and deveined shrimp. And then I've got some rice I cooked off. Put that in the center. And ladle on some gumbo and we're set there. Ready to go. Okay, there's the gumbo. I hope you give that a shot. You can mix it up any way you like, you know, different seafood, different meats. You could do pork, chicken. So give it a try. A couple of things, the seasoned flour that I used to dredge the ribs in, I just added some of the gumbo seasoning to flour and coated the ribs with that, and then I used that same flour in that second roux. The reason I cooked two roux is I wanted to get the one pan going with everything else in there, and then I wanted to brown the meats in another pan. It just turned out that's the way that they thawed, so I just did it in two separate dishes. It's easy enough to make the adjustments. Could have just as well done it in one pan. Word of warning, be careful when you're making the roux. You make it over very high heat and you're whisking oil and flour together. Be careful of splatters. In Chef Paul Prudhomme's kitchen, it was called Cajun napalm, so that should give you an idea of what you're dealing with. In case you're not aware, gumbo filet is just sassafras leaves ground up. It's used as a seasoning and also as a thickener in gumbo. I cooked the filet in the roux so that it would cook out some of the flavor, make it a little more acceptable flavor-wise. And it also takes away some of the thickening power so it doesn't make a super thick gumbo that way. For rice, I just did a long grain rice along with some jasmine and some basmati. I did about a cup of each, and I cooked it in a rice cooker. Paul Prudhomme had a big influence on my early restaurant career. I learned quite a bit from his books. I highly recommend his Louisiana Kitchen. There's a lot of great stuff in there, so have a look at that. I always admired Paul's kitchen philosophy, and this quote, which is taken directly from one of Paul's video cassettes, may give you a better idea of why. So I hope you give this one a try. Once you get the basics of gumbo making down, you can do just about anything with this. All kinds of different meats, chicken, pork, and different seafood goes really well on this. Until next time, thanks for watching.